Welcome back to the iAchilles channel, everyone. Today I want to talk about regulations. EPA's regulations on lead are about to take effect on small businesses in the United States of America. And it's going to destroy jobs, it's going to destroy businesses, is what it's going to do. I just wanted to talk a little bit about regulations real quickly. People are under the impression in the United States and around the world that America is unregulated. That George W. Bush unregulated businesses in the United States of America. So there are no longer regulations. There's no more government regulation of the private sector, in the banking industry, in the insurance industry, and all of that. And that is what has caused all the problems, that there are no regulations. The oil spill, because they don't have regulations, because George Bush deregulated them. That's what everyone believes. Because Barack Obama said that no longer can we continue down the path of unfettered capitalism. So the United States has been unregulated. When that couldn't be further from the truth. What we have, what has caused all the problems, is targeted regulation. Targeted deregulation. Do you understand? The banking industry wasn't unregulated. They dismantled one regulation, the Glass-Steagall Act. That's all they did. All the other regulations were there, but all they did is dismantle one regulation. And the only reason why they dismantled that regulation, because it was a quid pro quo for the Community Reinvestment Act. Do you see what I'm saying? The banking industry got one regulation lifted, and it was so that the government, the progressive movement, could create the financial crisis by giving people loans that couldn't afford them. Barack Obama said, no longer can we continue accumulating debt among our citizenry. No longer can they continue to buy things they can't afford. Well, Barack Obama, you're the one that created that. You sent out your acorn people to protest the banks so that the banks would go along with the CRA. To give loans to people that couldn't afford them. Do you understand? This was created. The oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, it's because of deregulation. There's no regulations on them. Why do you think they're drilling a mile under the water out there in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico? Because regulations pushed them out there. EPA regulations pushed them out there. So that now they're drilling in an area that we just can't get at the hole. We can't even get there, except by robots, and obviously that's not working. Day 73 here, maybe? Day 74? Oh, and Obama didn't lift the Jones Act yet. They're now considering it, lifting the Jones Act. They've had a couple ships come in from other countries. But they're sitting in dock waiting for the EPA to make a decision whether it's okay to have that ship out here picking up the oil. Because some of the oil might get put back in. Some of the oil might get put back in. That's their rationale. When they pump the water back in, some of the oil might still be in there. Well, hey, we can't pick up the majority of it if we're not going to get all of it. Do you see what I'm saying? It's regulations that are causing the problems in this country. Government infiltration into the system, into the free market system. Creating regulations that stifle growth, that create crisis. I'm having a debate with somebody from Australia about regulations. Oh, regulations are good, she said. I can't believe you don't want these companies to be regulated. I want them to be regulated in such a way that they benefit this country instead of turn this country into a crisis. Turn the financial system into a crisis, the insurance industry into a crisis, the oil industry into a crisis. What regulations really do is they stifle growth. And the small businesses, what they've done is the EPA, along with the government, wants to regulate small trucks. So they created the USDOT, which now incorporates small trucks into They're already oppressive regulations they have on truckers, big trucks. So now the little trucks, like the little tiny dump trucks that the landscapers have and all those are all now fall under the US DOT. Okay? This increases fees. It increases insurance costs, registrations. You have to actually get new insurance. You have people coming and telling you that how many hours in a day you can work. This is what regulation does, and it stifles growth, is what it does. It drives small businesses out of business, and it creates monopolies within the bigger businesses, the people who can absorb this. For example, Home Depot does now what I do, because they see an opportunity, because they know that these regulations are going to destroy the small guys. So they're going to come in and gobble up all that work that the little guys are going to give up on because they can't afford the fees. Do you understand? Little guys are dropping left and right, small businesses. You're not getting that on the unemployment because they don't go on unemployment. They're not even counted. But they're dropping like flies. By design. To fundamentally transform America and this system. Everybody wants to blame capitalism for what happened. Capitalism didn't cause this, because if we were living in a capitalist country, the banks would have failed. Capitalism dictates those banks fail because they ran themselves into the ground. They did things they weren't supposed to do, and their companies failed, so they should fail. That's capitalism. The car industry should have went into bankruptcy and then renegotiated with the unions. That's not what happened. Obama gave the car companies to the unions and screwed the shareholders. That's not capitalism. It's nowhere near capitalism. Capitalism would right all of these wrongs, but they're not allowing it to. But they're blaming capitalism for it. This country is regulated. It's regulated in such a way to create crisis, to create disenchantment and discontent with the current system, which is capitalism, to fundamentally change it. That's what's happening. And the EPA is going to come out now, and anybody who works on, any construction company who works on a house that was built before 1978 now needs to go take a class in lead paint. Because, and their rationale for it is because children get lead poisoning. How does that have anything to do with a small business? It's not. It's about fleecing that small business. It's about destroying the small business, creating a monopoly in the bigger businesses. Do you understand? It's about destruction. It's about change. God bless America.